March the 23rd, 2026. Guys, it is another beautiful day that our Father has given us. And it is 64 degrees, feels like 68, bright and sunny, just beautiful spring day. What can I say? We got a lot going on, and two of the things I want to talk about both have to do with our president. And it has to do with information that came out over the weekend. He gave Iran until he gave them 48 hours, which would have ended this afternoon at about 7:30 East Coast time. That would have been the end of that 48-hour period. But now he came in early this morning and said that he's had constructive talks with the Iranian officials, and he's called off that immediate attack. Now, the oil prices, and they went straight down, which is great, and the stock markets went back up. It's kind of an X crossing there. Stocks go down, oil goes up, vice versa. Anyway, so we had a pretty good drop too in the oil prices, at $7 and $8, things like that across the board. But then, or just not very long ago, a few minutes ago, basically Iran is saying now they've had no talks with Trump. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, other than our president is very smart. He sure knows how to manipulate the markets and get some prices down, doesn't he? Anyway, we're seeing that. I don't know how long it will stay down, but it was a knee-jerk reaction to the news that he had called off this afternoon's attacks. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. But also, Trump is saying no to DHS funding deal with the Democrats until the Save America Act is approved. And he's saying for as long as it takes. And he's telling Ryan Thune to cancel Easter recess. He's pressuring him, but Thune, he doesn't like Trump, so he's not going to go along with much that he wants. He'll probably go exactly the opposite direction. Now, what Trump is saying here is kind of like the Iranian deal. I'm not sure, but he's saying now, because he's putting ICE agents into airports, and that he wants them to check everything and lock up as many Somalis as he can. Remember when he first said this? Anyway, he's saying they're kind of in a panic now and want to make a deal. And this is his reply again. No DHS funding deal with the Democrats until they pass the Save America Act. And that includes 4 or 5 different things. No transgender operations on kids, no men and women's sports, and a couple of other things, but mainly voter ID. And I think it's the most important act ever in this country, possibly on the planet, because we're a very powerful country. And our elections need to be preserved, and the integrity needs to be honest. We need to know that our vote counts if we are going to vote. And I know a lot of people feel like they're just about had it with voting and all, and I feel the same way sometimes. We're going to see what happens. Now, I haven't given up all the way, because what is the alternative? Kamala? Sleepy Joe? Democrats running things again? And guys, if the Democrats get back in power, you can forget about these type of videos, because they're going to come down on people like me very hard, people like you that do them, and people, they're going to look at any way they can to take down the deplorables. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just a battle about economics. It's a battle about survival of the conservatives. And I promise you, look what they did in 4 years to destroy the nation. And now they're promising going after everybody, all conservatives, as soon as they get back in office. But Trump said something else this weekend that echoes what you and I have talked about for over a year, is that the number one enemy to the U.S. is the Democrats. And what he said yesterday, I think it was, he said now that we've just about ended the war in Iran, and hopefully so, although Iran's not giving up, he's saying once we get rid of that threat of global annihilation via nuclear arms and blocking the straits and all that, He said we're going to eat. He didn't say it verbatim, but his intent was now we have to focus on the Democrats because they are the enemy. And he's aware of that, and he's right about that. Nobody's going to be perfect. I'm not crazy about the war thing. Now, another thing about Iran saying they haven't talked to Trump. Now, again, he's just saved the country a lot of money just in one. If it lasts for a week, the oil prices being down a little bit, it's going to bring your prices at the pump back down some. But if they did not agree to anything, then again, Trump's a pretty good chess player. How will Israel react? Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, before, and I'll just tell you kind of how my mind works when it works, was before I found out that Iran is denying that they had made any type of advancements with talking with Trump on peace. I was thinking Israel is going to do something. They cannot have peace. They're not through with their destruction yet. You understand what I'm saying? They still need Big Brother in there so they can do their deeds and get away with it. So before, again, this was before we found out Iran is denying the deal. But it brings about a good point. How will Israel handle a very quickly made truce? Let's say that, maybe not a long-term peace deal, but a truce, to where we see movement through the straits, we see oil prices come down, and we see our troops start to back off a little bit, come back home. Then how will Israel react? The same way they did with the SARS oil field there, bombing it and bringing in more trouble? I don't know, but I don't trust Bibi. I don't trust many politicians and all. I have high hopes for our president. Again, he's not perfect. I think he was drawn into that war, but just the same way that Colin Powell held up that little vial many years ago saying that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. And it could happen in any time. And I think they were telling Trump it'll be 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, they will have a nuclear bomb. Now, I also remember Bibi, if you guys remember this, he was before the United Nations, and he had him a big poster board back there, and I think he had a red magic mark or something. He drew a little, some kind of little sketch saying, we are this far. I mean, it was like a childish first grade deal, or maybe kindergarten. We are this far from them getting a nuclear bomb. This was years ago. And it's the same old deep state play. They have weapons of mass destruction we've got to attack, and it usually has something to do with oil and gas and things like that, right? Well, I'm thinking that that's what happened to Trump. He's got, no matter what cabinet he gets around him, it seems he's always got some pretty good losers in there, doesn't it? And this time, he may have done a little better on some aspects of it. At least he has better control of the military than what he had with Mali. But there's some crap going on in the DOJ and the FBI that just does not make sense. It doesn't go along with cleaning the swamp up and things like that. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm not defending anybody. I'm trying to be optimistic about our country. And if Trump has to tell a tale here and there to manipulate the markets, manipulate the enemy, so be it, because you don't need to tell them what you're doing. They need to think you're going to do exactly the opposite. So right now, again, the warning from Trump, and I made a mistake in yesterday's video. I had oil on my mind when I said he had threatened to bomb the big oil-producing places that were left there. It wasn't that, guys. Again, I had oil on my mind. It was their power plants. And so, excuse me for that. I apologize. But how will, now that Iran has denied the talks, and remember the pressure was to open the straits within 48 hours, how will this play out now? They're saying they haven't talked. Trump says they have. Oil's going down. Stocks are going up. How will this play out through today? And you know that, again, the SAVE Act is very important. How will Thune handle that? Will he creep out like a slimy snake he is for Easter, which is a very poor name for it, but for those holidays, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. I just wanted to touch base with you a moment, let you know again, right now, as far as I know, we got ice going into the airports. By the way, a Canadian airline came into LaGuardia this morning. It was still dark, according to the pictures that I saw, and it hit a fire truck. And it killed the 2 pilots, wounded a bunch of people, but that's the only deaths I know of. It took the front end out of the plane. It was setting at LaGuardia on its tail. In other words, it's like a huge weight had set down on its tail, and the nose was sticking up at about a 45-degree angle. But the nose was crushed. So I don't know what's going on there. Probably just an accident, but and LaGuardia is closed, so you won't need any ICE agents there to handle the TSA's job there, but we don't know where all they will go. I'm sure it will be the larger cities at first, probably in D.C. in that area, New York, possibly LAX. We'll just have to wait and see, Chicago maybe. But I just wanted to come in and give you an update on what I could find out this morning, guys, and we're going to be watching it, so stay tuned for updates. It's a heads up. You guys be safe. Oh, yes, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe.